Hi everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching, listening here in the United States or outside of the United States and another country, territory, province, township. Um, we are grateful to have you with us. If you can, give us a big thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share, reshare, repost, and maybe even get that phone out. Even if you're on the phone, hit pause, let 25 or 50 or 100 of your contacts know about the Voices for Voices podcast, TV show. You won't be disappointed, and they will not be disappointed. We're over 530 episodes going strong. We're pushing towards 600. So we're we're going. We're going full throttle. That's how we do it. To reach and help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond, that's what it takes. It takes commitment, focus, and that's what we're doing. And that's just what piece of what we're doing here at Voices for Voices. Mythical creatures around the world, as you know, we acquired them late in 2025. Has a lot going on, and we'll leave it like that. You will hear, you will see um, what I'm referring to. And I also want to give a big welcome to our new viewers, our new listeners who are joining Voices for Voices for the very first time. We welcome one and all. Thank you for being part of the Voices for Voices family. Uh, it's an honor to have you with us. Well, today is the top of the week, I guess, on a Monday. Not usually a favorite day of the week for me. Um, but once I get started, then things really get going into action. We talk about persistence, we talk about focus, we talk about just putting our heads down and going after these humongous goals that we have. And so that's the mindset and the actions that we need to take each and every day. We also need to take some rest in between and let our bodies rejuvenate a little bit. But then we jump right back in to the projects, the goals that we have. And I'm so excited uh, for what is to come and what is coming shortly. May even be a little preview before this show actually drops. Not sure, can't guarantee anything, but there just may be something. And so you want to keep your social media, which I would also recommend following the Voices for Voices Facebook, the Voices for Voices Instagram, the Voices for Voices _22 at for TikTok. We had to start brand new. Somebody took our old one down. I have a pretty good idea who that is. Uh, but we're taking the high road here. So we started over. We got 5 followers, I think, or 7. Doesn't matter to me because those are 5 or 7 people who are in the know. They they see what's coming sooner than most people. And so we will be hitting the media circuit like we're doing. So on our shows, we'll be potentially sharing some things, some projects that have been in the works for quite a while. Quite a while, yeah. But things are happening, and we're so glad that you're with us. And again, bring some friends with you. Bring some like-minded individuals. Follow Voices for Voices. Watch, listen to our TV show and podcast. We're an independent organization that is not part of a larger conglomerate. And yet we're reaching people far and wide, from governments to intelligence to military to me to you. We're reaching, and we have been reaching for quite a while. And it took me a little bit of time to wrap my arms around that. We're doing it. So how's it feel like when you're doing what you feel that you're here on Earth for? When you're doing the thing or things where you're like, I'm so glad I tried this or I continued this. How does that make you feel? I know, talking about emotions is hard, but I'm just curious. Drop a line in the comments. Let us know. We love the feedback. And I'm very interested in how it makes you feel because for me and how it makes me feel, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel worthy. It makes me feel like I have a purpose in life that, we're not trying to sound morbid at all, but for some reason, today is my last day on earth. Disclaimer, I have no plans of ending my life today or any day. So I just wanted to share that because sometimes people take it literally. Um, hypothetically, if it was, if today was, I would feel better now than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where I was living what I thought was the good life, the high life. And at those points, I don't know what I would have thought about. I really don't know. But right now, right here, right now, the feeling I get helping somebody, even if it's just holding a door open for somebody, I feel good. Not just because it's a nice thing to do and all that. It just aligns with what we're doing here with Voices for Voices, mythical creatures around the world. We're so focused on the mental health, mental challenges, trauma, recovery, PTSD, you name it. Those themes are carried throughout all of the things that we do. And that was one of the big things when we were talking about mythical creatures around the world. And just to let you in on a little bit, in order for us to continue to expand all those things, everything's got to tie back to Voices for Voices, to the mental health, the mental challenges, the PTSD, trauma, recovery, all those things. I was stipulation number one. And for anybody we do business with, it's going to be the same thing. Not just because of my mental health challenges, but it kind of is that way because that's how Voices for Voices got started, was because of my mental health challenges, my mental health illnesses that still to this day I'm living with each and every day of my life. Some days better than others, even though we've heard this before. And it's important because there's still people to this day that need help. Some may see they need help, some may not. And so, with your donation at lovevoices.org, we're able to continue that mission where we can help people who part of the reason why they may not go forward and get the help that they so dearly need is the price tag on a inpatient stay. Mine is around 20 grand, 20,000 US dollars. So one of the big things we want to do with any proceeds, donations, profits from products, services, you name it, is to be able to help people. Somebody like, man, Justin, I need, I think I need a little bit of help. But I don't got the money, even with insurance or without insurance, whatever. Everybody's case, it's a case by case basis. We want to help those people. We want to say, look, go get the help you need. We got your back and we'll cover your expenses. Because people look at me and think like I'm in this class of society. Like, oh, Justin, like, yeah, you could afford that. No, he couldn't. I don't know very many people as $20,000 United States dollars or whatever currency it is in your where you live. That's how I know that amount. That's how I know that number because I saw that number. And it's a travesty for people who need help. And that's the reason why. That was one of the reasons why at first I didn't want help because I didn't have the money. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how many days I was gonna be there. I didn't, and then so many visits with the art therapy and regular group therapy, individual therapy. If there's medication, all these, the food, everything has a dollar sign next to it. And what we want to do and what we are doing is helping people little by little. It's not a lot right now, I'll tell you that. But that's where donations go. See, a very high percentage of donations go into that bucket, whatever we want to call that. So there's a lot of people still need help. I'm one of them. I still need help. So I have my mental health care team. There's no reason that you shouldn't have your own mental health care team, whether it's shame, whether the stigma, whether whatever that may be, the cost, the uncertainty. Like, are my family members, are they going to be there when I get released? What That's a big fear of nobody cares about me. Nobody's going to be there when I get released. No. In fact, when I had my inpatient stay, there were already appointments set up because that's the other thing too. If we're just letting people, if we're admitting people and we're just doing the status quo, not helping them very much, that person's may very well end up in the same place or worse. And we don't want that. We don't. Nobody does. But there will be somebody or somebody's waiting for you. There will be. And again, going back to the appointments, another fear of I'm going to get released. I'm going to have family, but now how do I go? Well, like, what's the next thing I have to do? Like, am I just like, I was here 5 days. and then you're on your own. At least for me, I had appointments, I had dates that were getting me started. And that's another thing at the beginning is that fear that I had before I went into the hospital, the whole referral process. We're not accepting new patients now. We're not accepting new patients. Okay. So what's the person going to do? Seriously, what's a person going to do? You're going to have people like me or trying to knock down the doors that get a hold of somebody so I can be seen today, not in 6 months. I don't know if I'm going to be around in 6 months. It was that dire for me. So when you go in, if you go into the hospital, you're going to be monitored 24/7, which is what you need. It's what I needed. And then I had the appointment set up. I still was afraid to drive, but I had the appointments set up. So the therapy and psychiatrists and all that, like they were expecting me, as opposed to, again, not getting any information, having to literally fight tooth and nail to get that information. That's the thing that helped. That's a thing that helped me because that's what people need, I think, is that structure. Like I love structure, but I'm not the best at doing the structure. That makes sense. And so when it's mental health related, the mind is being, the brain's, if there is medication involved, the brain is being affected by the medication and the therapy and the coping mechanisms and all that. So the last thing a person needs is, well, here's a phone number, you call them. Then you call both they give you two phone numbers, and then you call both of them and they say, oh, we can't see it for 6 months. You say, well, I just got out of the hospital, and you explain in their terms. But again, mine was already set up, that next step. And each set of therapy, I forget how many sets of therapy I went, like certain group therapy focuses on different areas. And so I think it was like two or three different, like I'd go to like one group therapy for 6 weeks or 3 weeks or some number of days. And then when the therapist and psychiatrist, when they thought we were ready to go to the next step, then they would set that up and it was as seamless as it could be. Nothing's perfect. It's not. But it made me feel better just knowing that, okay, just tell me what I need to do. Just tell me, please. I've tried to do everything myself and I failed miserably. So can you just help me? And I remember telling person who ended up being my psychiatrist for many, 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 many years. Uh, he was the main psychiatrist for like once you're released from the hospital, then there's this it's called partial inpatient. So I think it's 4 days a week or something like that. And it's like 9 to 3 or 9 to 2 or and it's intense. And my psychiatrist, and this is how I know I like structure, and I like somebody who is somebody, some people would call it like a little bit harsh. And I did. I told him, I was like, I don't like you at all. But that was his style, was just to say, here's what we need to do. And I remember towards the end of that portion of the therapy, uh, he said, okay, like tomorrow is gonna be your last day, and and then you're gonna go to this next therapy, like another step down from the hospital. And I started to get the money thing, right? Because all of these things aren't free. And then I said, I don't want to do it. I was like, this is fine. And again, so a little bit of that was creeping into my mind. Like, oh, Justin, you're good. Once you finish this, you don't have, like, you can have your, regular appointments, but you don't need to go to this other group therapy. He told me, and the psychiatrist, he says, ultimately it's your choice. The the better outcomes come when people go through with these different step down therapies. And then I started thinking like, oh man, so I might end up right back here. And so somehow, some way, I was just like, all right, let's do it. Then everything got signed, whatever needed signed. And then I started that step down. And so there were times where I was a little combative, like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't want to do that. You just want to make more money off me. But if it wasn't for that, him just saying, as him, uh, the psychiatrist, if he wouldn't have said that, I probably wouldn't have done that next step down group therapy because I just knew best. I know best. So he ended up being my psychiatrist for quite a bit, 6, 7 years. And then I told him many times he retired. Uh, but I told him many times, it's like, I didn't like you. And he goes, a lot of people don't like me. He goes, I have to be this, This is how I have to practice my psychiatry. And then he helped Voices for Voices put a little support behind and say, why wouldn't you do it? You might as well do it while you still, like your brain's still functioning. And then that was just like, oh, well, that's true. I guess it's still functioning pretty decent. And so it's little conversations like that that you have, that I have, that really push us, when somebody from the outside sees what's happening, what's going on, that's much different than what I feel and what I think on a day-to-day basis. And so that's another reason how I know Voices for Voices is my calling here on earth. So thank you for joining us. If you can please give us thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share, reshare, repost. Pull out your phone. If you're on your phone, hit pause, share the Voices for Voices podcast and TV show with 25, 50, 75, 100 connections, contacts in your phone. All those are free to do, by the way. If you do want to donate, we do accept donations, and they are 100% tax deductible federally. If you live in the United States, if you live in a different country, you'll want to check with your tax preparer on on that front. And you can donate at lovevoices.org. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you, hearing from you on a future episode of the Voices for Voices podcast and TV show. So until next time, let's celebrate the voices of the world and let's be a voice for not only ourselves, but there might be somebody that you know that's not able to share their voice, and you can do that for them. Take care. Have a great day. Bye bye for now.